what do I sell to the government? Like, I have this business, but I really wasn't sure. I don't know what my calling is just yet. I don't know, what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know what my purpose. I don't really know what I'm supposed to serve. Do I just start anywhere? Do I jump in? So what are your gifts? Do you know what your gifts are? For some of you, you're really good at consoling people through their grief moments. Like, you're really good. Like, you have a heart and a passion for helping people through those moments. Well, what is that called? Counseling, right? Counseling, grief counselor. They have contracts for that. Your gift will make room for you. Yes, it will. For some of you, you're really good at making people feel good by cooking food and bringing the family together, right? That's catering. They have high lucrative multiple six-figure contracts for caterers. What do I sell to the government? Like, I have this business, but I really wasn't sure. I don't know what my calling is just yet. I don't know, what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know what my purpose. I don't really know what I'm supposed to serve. Do I just start anywhere? Do I jump in? So, one of my favorite worship songs by a young man years ago, he wrote this song by Jay Moss. It was a worship song. He's a worship leader. And the lyrics are so powerful because, especially when you apply that to business, because it says, if I were a drummer, I would use my cymbal. If I were a writer, I would use my pencil. Who are you? What are your gifts? If I were a singer, I would use my voice. If I was a doctor, I would use my research. A prolific dissertation, if I was a speaker, I would use my hand. If I was a potter. So what does that say to you, for those who are like, okay, I see all these government contracts, it's like literally for everything. Where do I start? What do I sell? What are your gifts? Because spiritually, it says your gifts will make room for you in every aspect. Your gifts will bring you wealth. Everything God has placed in you, everything that you need to actually live in abundance. But unfortunately, we've been distracted and programmed to live outside of his will. So what are your gifts? Do you know what your gifts are? Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you're enjoying it. I wanted to take some time to invite you to join me in the GovCon Challenge. The GovCon Challenge takes place once a month, where I invite a bunch of entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs to come and have me teach you the 5 things you must do to pre-qualify your business to land lucrative contracts with the government. So join me in the GovCon Challenge. Click on the link in the description. You'll be glad you did. Join as VIP for exclusive behind-the-scenes information, and you could become a part of the top 1% of entrepreneurs across the nation. Now back to the video you were watching. When I discovered my gifts, I didn't realize what my gifts were until I landed my first government contract. And I'm gonna explain. I remember when I was a kid, I was a little girl. I was probably about 10 or 11, and I was very much into music. So I used to sing and I used to rap and all this stuff. So I was like a local well-known person. And I remember recording on cassette tapes, because that's what we had back then, on cassette tapes. So I would have music on one cassette player and a microphone connected to another cassette recorder. And I would play the music, and I'll be on the other microphone. I would either be singing or rapping. And then at the end of the day, I created a recording studio in my house. So and then I'll have a whole nother cassette that has both my vocal and the music together, right? So that's audio production. And then sometimes those cassette tapes, anybody remember cassettes, like some of y'all probably don't even know what I'm talking about. Y'all remember cassettes? And sometimes those cassette tapes, right, which was analog, they used to pop, right? They used to break. And I got so good at splicing them together, like put a piece of tape on it and splice it back together and put it back inside the cassette thing and then play it, and it would play seamlessly like it had never broke. I had no idea that is editing and splicing. I had no clue that is audio production and it was film editing. Because when I went to film school, when I went to and got my bachelor's in communications, I specialized in broadcasting, and they taught me how to edit tape, film, right? So it was like the VHS tape, and you would have to splice it and then put it back together. I was like, I've been knew how to do this. I learned this in my house, right? That type of stuff, right? So when I landed my first government contract, and they say, well, we need you to edit. Now it's like digital editing, right? So now we're using Adobe and Premiere, used to be Final Cut Pro. Same thing. And that's when I realized my gift had made room for me. The gift that I had stirred up in me as a kid, that same gift is now helping me land lucrative multi-six-figure and multi-million-dollar contracts with the government. So again, I say, what are your gifts? For some of you, you're really good at consoling people through their grief moments. Like you're really good. Like you have a heart and a passion for helping people through those moments. Well, what is that called? Counseling, right? Counseling, grief counselor. They have contracts for that. Your gift will make room for you. Yes, it will. For some of you, you're really good at making people feel good by cooking food and bringing the family together, right? That's catering. They have high lucrative multiple six-figure contracts for caterers. And I'm talking about for a one-day event, maybe a two-day event, multiple six figures. What kind of catering job could you get right now that pays you multiple six figures for a day or two? None. This is the reason why doing business with the government will transform, right? Will transform your life. And so the great thing about government contracting thing, like if you land one large lucrative contract, it's not going to require you to work harder, right? We all hear the term work smarter, not harder. This is how you work smarter and not harder, right? You could be working less than part-time, and still be reeling in a $500,000 or more, right? So doing business with a premium buyer like the government allows you to buy back your time, which is one of the most valuable assets that you have, because you don't get your time back. You know, a lot of times we were raised, especially those who were raised in church, to think about the afterlife as the time to celebrate all the hard work that you did when you were on earth. Well, you don't want to wait till you die to celebrate in heaven. You know what I mean? You want to celebrate life now. You get to actually create wealth and enjoy that wealth while you're living.